Do you ever watch Stranger Things and wonder if any of that crazy stuff could be real? The psychic powers, the secret labs, the other dimensions. Well, the scary truth is that the show is deeply rooted in very real and very disturbing secret government programs. The creators, the Duffer Brothers, didn't just invent Hawkins National Laboratory out of thin air. They drew inspiration from declassified files and chilling conspiracy theories to give the show that feeling that this could have actually happened. So today, let us pull back the curtain and explore the real-life black projects that created the world of Stranger Things. Get ready, because the truth is often stranger than fiction. First and foremost, let's talk about the big one, Project MKUltra. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was a genuine, top-secret CIA operation that ran for over 2 decades, from the 1950s all the way to the 1970s. The goal: mind control. The CIA was terrified that communist countries like the Soviet Union and China were developing advanced brainwashing techniques to use on American prisoners of war. To catch up, they decided to start their own program, and it got dark, fast. The CIA's own documents, declassified later, show they conducted thousands of unethical experiments on human subjects, often without their knowledge or consent. They used high doses of psychedelic drugs like LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, electroshock therapy, and psychological abuse. Their aim was chillingly described as trying to blast away the existing mind to see if a new one could be inserted. This is the direct inspiration for Eleven's mother, Terry Ives. In the show, Terry volunteers for what she thinks is a psychological study at Hawkins' lab. But in reality, Dr. Brenner is running his own version of MK. While pregnant with 11, Terry is unknowingly given LSD and subjected to sensory deprivation, which ultimately leaves her in a catatonic state. This storyline is a direct reflection of the real-life victims of MK, people whose lives were destroyed by these covert experiments. The show takes the psychological trauma of these experiments and translates it into the source of 11's supernatural powers. It poses the question, what if these horrifying experiments actually worked, but not in the way the government intended? Now, let's dive into the world of conspiracy theories with the Montauk Project. This is where the story gets even weirder, and you'll see just how much it shaped the show. In fact, the original working title for Stranger Things was actually Montauk. The Montauk Project is a sprawling conspiracy theory centered around Camp Hero, a decommissioned Air Force base in Montauk, New York. According to the legend, the government continued secret experiments there after it officially closed. These weren't just mind control experiments. The theories claimed they were working on psychological warfare, time travel, and even opening portals to other dimensions. Sound familiar? The most famous part of the Montauk legend involves kidnapping children, often runaways or orphans, and experimenting on them to awaken and weaponize their psychic abilities. These kids, known as the Montauk Boys, were supposedly subjected to intense trauma to unlock their powers. This is the direct blueprint for 11 and the other numbered children in Dr. Brenner's lab. The idea of a secret government program stealing children and torturing them to create psychic weapons comes straight from the Montauk conspiracy. Furthermore, the look of Hawkins National Laboratory, with its imposing, ominous radar tower, was visually inspired by the real Sage radar tower that still stands at Camp Hero in Montauk today. The Duffer Brothers took the most sensational and terrifying elements of this conspiracy theory and made them the core of their story. The Upside Down, the Demogorgon, the interdimensional gay tit, all has roots in the wild tales of the Montauk Project. But the government's interest in psychic abilities wasn't just a conspiracy theory. There was another very real program called the Stargate Project, run by the U.S. Army and later the DIA from the 1970s until 1995. Its official goal was to investigate the military and intelligence potential of psychic phenomena. Specifically, they were focused on something called remote viewing. This is the alleged ability to use your mind to see a person, place, or object from a great distance. Essentially psychic spying. Operatives in the program would sit in a room and try to describe, for example, a secret Soviet submarine base, or the location of a hostage. This is exactly what 11 does in the show. When she est in the sensory deprivation tank, the bath, she est able to project her consciousness across vast distances. We see her use his power to spy on the Russians, eavesdrop on conversations, and find Will in the Upside Down. This is a dramatized, super-powered version of what the real Stargate project was trying to achieve, while the real project was officially deemed a failure and shut down. The very fact that the US government spent over 20 years and millions of dollars trying to weaponize psychic powers is astonishing. The show even mirrors a specific detail from the Stargate research. In an early scene, Dr. Brenner tries to force Eleven to use her telekinetic powers to kill a cat. In the real-life files of the Stargate project, there are documented attempts to see if psychics could affect living organisms, including one infamous experiment where they tried to psychically stop the heart of a goat. Luckily for the goat, it didn't work. But it shows that the twisted logic of Hawkins' lab had a basis in reality. So, when you put it all together, you see how Stranger Things is a masterful blend of historical fact and speculative fiction. It takes the documented, unethical human experimentation of Project and combines it with the wild, interdimensional conspiracy theories of the Montauk Project, and grounds it all in the real-world military research of the Stargate Project. The real-life programs were focused on psychological manipulation and breaking the human mind. The show takes this terrifying premise and asks, what if they succeeded beyond their wildest dreams? What if, instead of just creating trauma, they actually unlocked something else, something powerful, something supernatural? They fictionalized the outcome by giving 11 real, demonstrable powers and opening a gateway to a monster-filled dimension. The horror of Stranger Things isn't just about the Demogorgon or the Mind Flayer. It is about the chilling realization that our own government was once willing to sacrifice innocent people in the dark, desperate pursuit of power. The show reminds us that sometimes the real monsters are human. Thank you so much for watching. It's wild to think about how much of our favorite fiction is inspired by real-world events. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments what other shows you'd like me to investigate. See you next time.